everyone. Welcome to Thursday Night Live. So, today's been a great day. Just saying. Great day. I got a package. In the mail from Brian at Flower Street Farms. So, I'm going to open that up right now while we're waiting. And, guys, there's big news coming down the line. Big news coming down the line. Thanks, Steve. You're the man. Big news coming. So I've been I had a little insight into what's going on with Appimon Agriculture, right? Appimon LLC. The Appy tablets we've been talking about. It's good stuff coming. Not only the nutritional supplements for the bees that we've been talking about, but quite a bit of other equipment. Like, I'm just saying, once I see what's in this box, look at this, man. How nice is that? I'm going to show you. This is how you know somebody cares about their packaging, right? They do a great job. It's a great presentation. You open up the box, first thing you see is the name and the logo. That is a small batch, handcrafted, all-natural soaps made in Lakewood, Colorado. Beeswax and honey. Oh, that smells amazing. But look at the packaging. Well, if you could, look at the packaging, guys. Oop, upside down. Sorry. So the hologram sticker, Flower Street Farms. And I don't know what's in here, guys, but I don't want to dump anything out because I do the same thing. I use a lot of recycled stuff. Yeah, that is. I mean, this. So, bubble wrap package. There's a Flower Street bee here. What else we got? All right. So I have a good idea what this is. But look, it's in insulation. That's how they shipped it. And it's got 2 jars. Of course, I opened them up backwards. And it just so happens that, look at their honeycomb shape. That's awesome. Because of the jar cut out. So Brian and Jen sent me hot honey. Very nice. I like these jars. And this, if I was a betting man, is blueberry. It does. Blueberries. And I might do a taste test here in a bit, but I'm not going to open those right now. I'm going to see what's in this other one. And so, this blueberry creamed honey, there might be a creaming apparatus available soon on my website. That's all I'm saying. There might be several different things on my website that you might be able to purchase soon. But one day at a time. Hey, Ricky. And a lavender lotion bar. Look, for your wife. You mean I can't be smelling all lavendery? Oh, that smells great. Wow, that's really nice. Really, really nice, guys. If you haven't ordered some of these from Brian's website, it's flowerstreetfarmbees.com. So all of these products should be available, I think, on his website. So yeah, it's been a good day. But when we talk about, my swarm lure company is small, right? Ran out of my house. That is not the case with the Appy tablets. Not at all. They have over a 10,000 square foot facility. So in New Jersey. And I did see it through phone video chat. And it is quite incredible. Like tablets for days, extractors, creamers, some neat innovation that I'm not going to give out yet because I want to get one in my hands first, but it is the coolest thing ever. Brian, I got it right here, sir. Matter of fact, I had just went to the post office and delivered when your order came in, so it's going to go out tomorrow, but I do have it here. And it's really quite an impressive facility. I mean, there's so many tablets. I mean, it's not like me where you got a few cases here of your product at one time. It's like tablets forever. Infinity. It's pretty crazy. And so it's, to me, I got excited when I started seeing creamers and extractors and wax melters and stuff like that. And so it's going to be some big things happening here soon for my website. And obviously I'm going to support all the products I can from them. And there's some things you're going to really like to see. And in the next few weeks, you'll be able to start checking some of those out on these streams. So he says he's going to bring me some. I have no reason to doubt him. He's done everything he has told me, right? Always done what he's told me. And let me see. Oh, someone shared the post. Sorry, guys, phone. But hey, guys, the link is up there. Nope, there. It's up there. If you want to come in, click it. Come on in. So you got yours, Three Oaks. I know a lot of them are starting to come. Phil got his in today, did a little video. So guys, what I need is data. I need data. So Phil did a mic shake today, and he's going to do before and afters, right? So we need that information. UPS, were they kicking around the back of the truck? Well, that's weird, Randy, because I sent yours out USP or UPS. So I think that they somehow have an agreement where they switch over somehow. I don't know. But I'm glad you got them. I don't know. Last time, I've got tickets. I'm going to be at Nobby either way. Either way, I'm going to be there. However, I did get a little bit of concerning news, guys. I mean, obviously my mom's got Alzheimer's. It's no surprise to you guys. And that's one of those things that you just slowly diminish. But it looks like she's going to be on home hospice coming up soon. And the nurse practitioner or nurse that came today said 6 months probably is being pretty conservative on my mom's life expectancy. So there's going to be a lot of stuff happening and that's January, February time frame, right? So so those are things that always, you never know with what'll happen, but things are looking like they're going to be pretty good. But what I do want to show you guys is I was happily surprised today, and let me see. So I was putting bottom boards on, and let me share the screen. Entire screen. And there you go. Boom. So this is one of my colonies that I opened up today, which, that's a box of bees. Actually, it's a, pretty good deal there. Bottom of one. But what I want you to pay attention to going into September is the amount of brood. Drones, slabs of brood. And these are, flip sides of the frames. Well, thought I had more pictures than that. Sorry. Guess it wasn't that many. But then, of course, I got the Appy tablet on the end. I actually robbed one frame of brood out that was starting to hatch out. That was right here. And I put it in that colony that that old Chris brought down here to try to give them just a little bump to see if that'll help out or not. So that's it. That's all they're getting. I'm not giving them any more. That's all they're gonna get. But so yeah, put some bottom boards on today. I had a very similar experience as to the one that Phil had with his bees. And it's yeah, the packaging, guys, that's one thing I was talking to you guys about. So some of them, like this one's good, right? It's perfectly fine. But by the time it gets flexed and bent and everything and shipping, that little thin piece has a tendency to pop open. But other than that, I mean, unless it just totally crushed the tablet, and even that, it would still be good. You just have to scoop it up, I guess, or dump it on there. But yeah, he knows there's some issues that they're trying to address with the shipping part of it. And there's Bradley. Let me open a drink. And so I'm kind of excited, guys, about the stuff. In my blue cubes for any. Well, everybody's popping in, but nobody's popping in. Nobody's popping in. What's going on? Charlie's been AFK for like 2 streams now. Todd's driving home. Brad's eating dinner. Nobody's got nothing to... Your daughter said those bath bombs really stink. That's funny. And Brad finished up his extracting and yard and put a video up. Brian's pulling weeds. Brian, I opened your package. Thank you so much. My wife will surely enjoy this. But yeah, I really love your packaging. You do an awesome job with that. Your marketing is on point. Now you're going for a walk. No cam on desktop. Ziggy. Speaking of Appy tablets, I do have a way to mail things. I can mail things to Canada. I just don't know how the time, right? The time to get them is always kind of up to whatever. And the postal and and everything. Is Ian in here? I didn't see Ian post on here, but or did I just miss it? Might have missed it. Oh, hey Ian, sorry, didn't mean to miss you in the scrolling comments there, but I do have a way I can invoice not through the website, so I can calculate the shipping to Canada type of deal. If that's if you guys are interested in yeah, so there's some equipment that's coming, guys. That's all I'm saying. I know they have a few different size creamers. Well, hello, sir.
Hey,
how you doing today?
good. Got some honey sales today, so two of my bigger customers called in. So
bigger physically or bigger by the quantity that they buy?
Well, one lady wants 12 pounds of honey at one clip every couple months.
That's a pretty good size customer.
And then the other lady, she bought like 29 pounds.
29? She must be giving it away to people at church or something.
No, I asked her. She said puts it in her tea and whatever.
29 pounds? She must drink straight like tea every day with just honey in it.
Yeah, she don't use any sugar or anything.
Oh, so she uses sugar is her. Honey is her sugar replacement.
Yeah.
Okay. But you got your. I heard a cheese wrapper, Charlie.
Yeah. Cheese wrap.
Charlie's over there making sandwiches.
No, I'll just eat a piece of cheese. So anyway, the one lady, she has these almost 3-gallon mason jars, like half gallon, or like that's the one I was telling you about, like 2 3/4 pounds per jug.
So she brings her jar to you and you just fill it up.
Yeah, I fill them up. So it was like, I don't know, like 28 3/4 pounds or something like that. I forget. But anyway, she had 5 of them sitting here. I had 2 here and then dropped off some more. And I'm like, hey, you want them all fill at one time? Yeah. So she came and got them. Then I had, walk-in sales, like a 3-pounder, 1-pounder, that kind of stuff.
Did your brother ever come to you and say, are you going to do any woodwork today, or is it all going to be honey?
Well, sometimes he does the sales.
He'll sell it for you. Oh, yeah, just put it right here. Some money. I have no sugar customers who buy 25 pounds a month. Oh. It's Lagrange. Hey, Lagrange.
Hello.
From the Yukon. Lagrange from the Yukon.
From Quebec.
So everything going good for you?
Oh, yes. Very good.
Hey, Randy. Alex.
Hey, Tommy. Hey,
Charlie. So anyway, that's been, it's been a good sale week this week.
That's good, man. I've been trying to catch up with the stuff in the yard.
Yeah, like the one gal here, she gets 3 or 4 3-pound bottles, and that's about I don't know, about every 6 weeks or something like that.
Oh, just to let everybody know, James came through his surgery and he said he's doing pretty good under the circumstances. What he said.
I didn't know. What was he operated on?
Well, he had that diverticulitis, so they did something with that. I don't know exactly what they did, but they did something with that,
All right, so that's what it was about. If they just did it at a later date.
Mm-hmm. And so what did you think about those photos I sent you today, or you didn't look at them?
Oh, that was a nice looking hive.
I sent the pictures to Ian, and I said, look what I found in my yard today. And he's like, found? What do you mean? I'm like, well, compared to most of my colonies, they don't look like this colony, so this was like the happy accident. It's like, oh, that's pretty nice. 5-6 frames of slabs of brood with a little bit of drone brood in there, and and Brad said, well, the drone brood means they're happy. They got drone brood in there because they have everything they need, right? So now they just got to do some drones. So it's and he'll come on and correct me with what he actually said. I understand that's kind of how our show goes, but that's how I took it in Bob's mind. Alex, how's your blender, your mixer?
It's pretty freaking amazing.
Now, will it go slow enough to
yes,
do it really good?
There's a half speed setting.
Oh, a half speed setting.
Yes, then speed 1 through 10.
So you just leave it on there and let it just spin for a long time and then come back and turn it off?
I've seen a few ways to make it. Most recipes call for like let it run 15 to 20 minutes per hour. And the longer you mix it, the better, the creamier it gets.
Yeah, because that's what Brian was saying, that his mixer was set for 15 minutes every hour. And yeah, there's Flower Street. And he did it for, I think it was the way I got it. He said he did it for 3 days straight, and then it was ready to do its thing.
Well, I can't do that because I have to manually turn it off and on.
Oh, yeah, I know that. But, that beats better than a drill and a motor and all that stuff.
Yeah. Because holding the drill and going for 20 minutes
Blueberry creamed honey
is annoying. Uh-oh.
Is that his creamed honey?
Jar.
Blueberry creamed honey.
What's it taste like?
Blueberries and honey. It's good.
Well, I mean, they were talking about that. What was it? Brad was talking about that last night, that blueberry.
It's got the so it's not like a blueberry syrup. It's actually got little pieces of blueberry fruit in it.
Well, that's freeze dried too.
Mm-hmm. That is very nice.
I use fruit powders when I do this. I think I forget his name, but you just buy them off of Amazon. They come in like 1/2 pound to 5 pound bags. Makes it pretty easy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now, how strong is it?
That's what we're fixing to find out. Very similar to mine. You can definitely tell it's a different base honey, but a very similar taste to my hot honey.
Are you doing bad?
He's probably doing good
I'm
now.
exhausted.
Finished his last frame, and his buddy Bob keeps bugging the hell out of him all day long.
Yeah. That's all right. It's kind of lonely in the honey house, so it's nice to have somebody to talk to.
It's funny. He's like, hey,
Yeah,
I'm right here, and I'm going to go over here to the uncapper, and it's like way on the other side of the room. So I'm just watching Brad walk and do his uncapper, and then walk over.
It's so noisy in there.
I call Todd, and I'm talking to Todd on the telephone. So it's pretty funny day today, but
well,
yeah,
I'll tell you, that's 11,000 pounds off my shoulders. I'll tell you, that's a good feeling.
Nice harvest.
Really good feeling. Yeah, it's a good year. It's a good year. It's beautiful honey too. A good Culver year, so that honey is just gorgeous. Just gorgeous.
I just finished extracting as well last Wednesday. 19 pails ish of basswood honey.
Well, that's 1,000 pounds nearly. That's a lot of honey.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm telling you, the One Tree Honey Company, that's the brand. It could be, you could even put like a Charlie Brown Christmas tree. It could just be like the leaning over tree or something. It doesn't even have to be,
Get the sympathy customer.
The crazier the better, right? Something that's gonna stick
the
in there.
lone tree honey
The lo-
company. That's kind of mysterious, you know. The Lone Tree Honey Company.
The one tree to rule them all.
What's
Oh yeah.
amazing
Like
is
Lord of
that
the
there's
Rings.
obviously more than just basswood in there, but every pail has the slight minty taste of basswood. It's pretty amazing.
Is that what basswood tastes like?
Yeah, it has a very subtle mint taste.
Well, how would you know? Maybe just your basswood. Maybe just that one basswood tastes minty.
That one
You know,
basswood tree.
Yeah, it's a special tree.
Matter of fact, that's the Minty Tree Honey Company.
Because he's been looking at that tree, admiring it the whole time, and he didn't notice the mint factory across the street. That's what's been going on.
Yeah.
But speaking of
wow,
mint, I've been
this basswood tree tastes like mint.
Meanwhile, they're making candy canes across the street for Christmas.
Yeah. Mint syrup running out the back of the factory, and the bees are wow. No wonder it
Darren
was such
really
a good
wants my
yield.
honey for some reason.
That's like me putting the Domino Honey Company on the front of my thing from all that syrup out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but speaking of Darren, I'm actually thinking of trying his idea of making Christmas honey, like cream a batch, flavor it mint, and then dye 2 smaller batches red and green, and just swirl it.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a good idea.
yeah, if you could somehow figure out how to swirl it where they stay swirled, right, and don't.
Well,
mix
it's cream
together.
honey.
Alex,
It should stay.
I know, Alex, I know how the confectioners do that, and it's not necessarily a through and through swirl, but they'll take their color and they'll kind of paint it inside the jar at different places around the edge of the jar, and then they pipe the neutral color in the center of it, because really what you're trying to accomplish is an aesthetic product in the jar.
Yeah.
Whether it's a through and through swirl really isn't that important. Great gift idea, man. It's a perfect gift of this beautiful
we'll have to
creamed honey,
thank-
and it looks like a candy cane.
Yeah, we have to thank Darren for that. Yeah, that was a great idea, I think.
Yeah. So a little, like a thin piping bag or a thin piping, you can get like a syringe kind of a thing with a long, narrow tip kind of deal that goes down in your jar, and you can just, I don't know if I can demonstrate, my glass. If you can just, I'll go here. You just paint it along the edge of the jar in different places like that, just on the inside, and then you pipe your neutral color in the center. Of course, candy canes are white in the center anyway, right? So
There you go.
good idea.
I want to see what it comes out looking like. I want to see the first edition, version 1.0. Don't
Yeah,
be like
I'm a bit worried.
1.0A, 1.0B.
I'm a bit worried because it's still a bit runny. I mean, creamed honey, so it might just sink in the bottom. Although using some sort of injection device like those confectioners things, pour the neutral and then inject on the sides of the glass, then swirl it. Might work. I'll have to make.
So
a
why
few
don't you make
attempts.
That's what you
with
got to
that
figure
whole
out. Yeah.
bag, put the whole bag in the refrigerator and get it a little bit firmer, set up a little bit more, and that's what you squeeze around the sides. Then you fill it the rest of the way with the runny or the unset cream and let it set in there and hold the other in place.
That's a good idea too.
So
Or don't they make you know how you have a cookie machine, where you press it out and you have 3 different areas that you put 3 different colors in, and it all comes out through a die. Would that work?
Like the cookie press thing?
Yeah. Would that work?
And to answer Steve's
And you
question,
take food color. Would that taint the advertisement of putting food coloring in there?
I'd have to look for food coloring. I
I
thought
mean, you get
chlorophyll-
green and you get red, or you get what? Well, it would be
Chlorophyll would
red.
make good green, but for red, I don't know. And to answer Steve's question is, however much it takes to taste good. I made no measurements
Season to taste.
because I made 6 pots of like 300 or 400 grams, and I did not use that much. Well, cinnamon is pretty potent stuff, anyways, as far as taste goes. So, and that's a beautiful cat, Brad.
He is a beautiful cat. Thank you. I'll tell him. Alex thinks he's beautiful. He doesn't care.
He doesn't care. He's like, just
He
rub
Like
it.
most
He
cats.
doesn't care.
That's funny. So you thought that was a
He's
box of bees, huh, Charlie?
That's what a hive should look like.
Well, I'm glad I got one. That's one of my 17 that'll probably make it through winter. You know what? Those retro kits, and Brad and I talked about this today. So I started replacing them with bottom boards and pulling the tray out. But every single one I pulled the tray out, beetles underneath it, and bees trying to keep those beetles corralled under there. So the screen is definitely what makes it happen right there, you know. So I mean, do they have beetles in them? Yeah, but the beetles still have hiding spots.
Well, that really nice looking hive you got there. I mean, looking at that hive, what's special about that hive? What
Well,
what did you do, or whatever?
what did I do with it? The honest truth, nothing. I did nothing but
He
treat it.
neglected it. That's what he did.
I had Apivar strips in it. That's it. Did nothing. I put the bottom board in it, right? The little bottom board insert. But other than that, nothing. I did put feed on top of it. But that was one of my nukes from early in the year that grew into a 6-frame license that I put into a 10-frame box, which grew out. And then I put another box on top of it, and it grew into that. And that's where it's been. Haven't touched
Yeah,
it.
but the thing of it is, obviously your mite must be under control on that hive. And then it looks like to me that your beetle situation is under control.
Yeah, well, there was still some beetles in there running around in the top.
Yeah, but it isn't overrun, is what I'm getting at. I mean, I don't know how much is the bees can put up with because I don't have that problem. But
well, this is I mean, guys, I understand if in your area of the country all of your bees look like this. This is an anomaly for me. So, I mean, what, 2 days till October 1st, right?
yeah,
That's a full slab, both sides. So they're doing something right there, right? So that's definitely one that I want to. I mean, she had 6 frames of brood in the bottom box, and I stole one that was starting to hatch out and gave it to a weaker colony.
Well, if they make it through winter, you'll definitely want to make more bees from that hive.
Oh, wrong way. Sorry. And, you know, they're starting to backfill over here with the syrup around, but there's different pollens and larvae in there. I mean, it was just slammed, right? Drone brood. What were you saying about the drone brood? Because we were talking about this, and I know I misquoted what you said earlier when you saw this picture, Brad.
No, you kind of got it. You know, the first thing is, and this is kind of just my opinion. First thing is people sometimes kind of freak out and associate production of drones with swarming, and I don't think that should be, kind of a negative thing. Production of drones is a positive thing, in my view. And don't forget, the production of drones and swarming are two completely natural things in beehive. So it's completely normal. However, we like to intervene and make sure the bees don't swarm and control that, maybe by making splits and helping them to reproduce in a controlled fashion, so we don't have to go and weed them out of the trees or say goodbye to them as they fly away. Production of drones comes at a kind of a great cost to the colony. It's a lot of effort to lay all those drones. It's a lot of effort and expense to feed all the larvae, keep them warm, keep the pupa warm, and a worker bee, when the queen lays a worker egg, and then they feed the larva, and that worker emerges, that worker is an asset to the colony. So the the expense that they put into that worker bee is going to pay back, and big time. But the expense that they put into that drone really is going to have no immediate or midterm benefit to the colony. It's something that's necessary in the long term for the survival of colonies everywhere. So they're not really motivated to produce drones unless they've got nothing else to do, right? We've got all the workers we need, we got lots of food, we've got space, we've got the queen's doing good. How about you just go ahead and it's kind of like the weekend, right? When you get all the work done, then just kind of go and lay some drones for a change. That'll be good, just because they have. But you take a nuke that's trying to build up, they don't lay drones. You take a small colony that's struggling, they don't lay drones. Why don't small colonies lay drones? Because small colonies are small for a reason. And nature knows that if the colony is small for a reason, maybe that reason is that they're no good. So we don't want the genetics to spread. We'll just let them go. So that's just kind of my drone talk.
Well, the like you said, it's like a net loss for the colony, right? There's no, especially this time of year, they're not going to fly out and get mated.
Yeah, yeah.
They're not going to mate this time of year unless it's just a wild Saturday night, I guess. But
those drones have zero chance of being productive in their lifetime, likely.
Yeah, so they're just gonna. That would be the best drone to be. Well, I'm just gonna walk around here and eat all the honey I care to eat. And
yeah, but they're not gonna feed them. They're gonna kick them out.
Yeah, and then and then at the end of their life or later on, they'll be like, "Time to go, buddy. You've overstayed your welcome." But
yeah, Grammy, I see what you did there.
Well, I missed it. What was it? Brad's just droning on.
That's why I ended it. I didn't want to drone on.
But yeah, but that's for my colonies. That's like an exceptional colony, right? And some of them are kind of in between there, and some of them are nowhere close to there. Which is, now I will say that these colonies have had that bottom board on for a couple 2 to 3 weeks now, right?
I want to interrupt, Bob.
Sure.
There's a concept here that I think is intriguing, and it's Shane. 20% of a colony. 20% of a colony of slightly more. Okay, you should bring that up.
Which one?
What he's saying is 20% of a colony can be drones. Research has shown that when there's a proper balance of drones, the colony is less stressed. So it's a chicken and egg thing. Think about that. Are they less stressed because they have more drones, or do they have more drones because they're less stressed? Right? Do they have drones because they're living on Easy Street and everybody's happy and having a good time and not worried about anything, and they're optimistic about the future and the economy is good, and you go out and buy that new car because the economy is good or something like that. So, which comes first, feeling good or drone production? That's an interesting question.
Well, I can almost answer that. Based on all of my other colonies, or 95% of my other colonies, I can say it that way. This is one of the few ones that I actually see drone cells in. I see brood in the other colonies. I don't see drones. I don't see 6 frames, 6 slabs of brood in the other colonies, right? But I do see it in this one for some. Well, because I didn't touch it. There you go. There's the answer to the question.
Stay
I
out.
did today, though. I did rob a frame out of it. So now watch. Claps. That was the one frame we just had to have. That one frame.
Yes,
now we're
exactly.
leaving you.
My one colony that was any
Yeah.
good. No, I messed it up.
That's it. That's my luck. But you know, it was. You see, I have gloves on. Yeah, I had a veil on. Okay, we get it. But there's not a bunch of. I mean, there's a few bees flying, but they're not like on my gloves, stinging it, flying in my face. They're pretty gentle, right? But the other colonies that I put the bottom boards on, I don't know if you saw Phil 33 Mile Bees video of him putting the tablets on. That's what the other colonies look like. Like where they just empty out the whole colony, just about. The whole front empties out, the top. I mean, they're coming from everywhere to get you. I have not inverted my heavy syrup because I didn't make my heavy syrup, so I don't know. I know it don't go bad, so there's that. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, that grafting from that hive earlier. It was kind of the idea. But, you know, spring's a long way away still yet. And we'll see what happens. Worker brood. Amy. Amy. You hear? Anytime I call her, it's...
She's gonna like it this time.
Yeah, I'm trying to get her to come get a gift. No.
We got goodies for you.
Poor Bob. He wants to give his wife a gift, and she's not having it.
Taking my mom to bed.
So, I know you said I should not use the basswood honey for making cream honey, but this first year I think I'm going to have to anyway, because I can't go off and buy a barrel of canola honey right now.
Oh, you don't have to do what I say. You do whatever you want. I'm
Yeah, I
throwing
know.
things out there.
I'm going to try and follow your recommendation, but I might have to use some of my current honey right now. I'm definitely going to apply your idea if I can.
I look at it this way: whatever sells, that's what you want to do with it.
Yeah.
You know, if it goes out the front door as cream honey better than it does liquefy, that's what it's going to do. You know, the way I see it.
Well, from the reaction I got at work, liquid honey is nowhere near as desired as the flavored honeys I made.
Because you're the only one around it doing it, right?
Only one I know of.
Well, you got a niche product right there. So now you're the first guy on the block with a whole new idea that they're not used to having, and it's like, yay, this is the guy we want to see. So that's what you do. Get in there and start creaming the hell out of everything.
Yeah, I looked up some good food dyes for green and red. Beet powder is good for red, and chlorophyll is very, very like as a nice Christmas tree green. It's been described as.
And it will keep your throat clear from coughs.
I'll try and order some chlorophyll and a beet powder, and try and make some prototype Christmas honey.
Well,
My-
make sure it tastes good. Like it's got to, the
Yeah.
green's got to have that. What is
Well,
the
it's
green?
all going to taste like mint, like candy cane all tastes
Okay.
like mint. Yeah. So one flavor and 3 colors, basically.
I handed my wife the stuff in a glass. She says, "What else do I need?" I said, "To go, to get out." And she just looked at me and walked out the door and closed it behind her. Nothing wrong with basswood creamed honey. No, there's nothing wrong with it. The idea was that was his premium honey.
Yeah.
So to sell it as premium honey and then get a non-basswood honey
For the cream
because there you go.
for flavors.
Well, specifically, my suggestion was specifically for flavored honey.
Yeah.
If you're going to flavor honey, start with a common everyday canola honey. Makes beautiful creamed honey, and once you flavor it, it don't matter what the floral source is really, and it's half the price of your basswood. You can win
See,
twice on that.
Bob's look at Michael Lang's comment. Is that your site?
Yes. What site do I use to order products? My own site. I'm a reseller.
Yeah, but it's bewares.com and it Big Cartel or something.
.co, bewares.co, or bewares.bigcartel.com.
See there what Brian says down there at the bottom? All my honey is premium honey.
So is mine.
Let me see. I'm trying to catch up here. Yeah, so you could put the little Grinch. You can just make it all green mint, right? Put the Grinch on it. You might get sued by Dr. Seuss, but I think he's dead, so you might be okay. And then you could do do an all red. Could be like Rudolph honey, right, for his nose. And then you don't have to worry about the blending thing. It's just different colors of mint honey.
Sorry, I was looking up programmable outlets. Somebody in the chat. So I just went to Amazon and wish list the first one I found. Then I can look it up later.
My wife came in here and opened the door, and she looked at me and she said, so I muted the mic. She said, "I just picked up 20 bees off my bedroom floor." So my mean bees were stuck in my jacket and coat and pants and socks and everything else when I came.
Bees that made that lovely cream that I just gave you.
Yeah.
Are they still alive? Some of
No,
them
they were dead.
mine come in. They're usually alive occasionally.
Until I'm still trying to figure out how the bees are getting all the way up. I've got gloves over my sleeves. They're getting all the way up my back or wherever inside of my veil.
Mm-hmm.
Still, I got to figure it out how to do it.
So Brian, did you find the cat? Flower Street. He had a cat run off. Yeah. Here comes this mountain lion up. Meow.
Yeah. But that's so yeah, today was a pretty good day other than the mean bees. But I think give them a couple weeks, they'll chill out once they get that the beetles under control. And the mites start to matriculate down into the deathbed, the depths of mite hell, wherever that is.
Yeah, if you get that under control, and what are you going to have to do? Finally go out and buy those other tray slide type?
Well, I still got 5 more to put together. So I now see the beauty is I have extra trays, right? So I bought 15 of the trays for the retro.
So now you can swap them.
Yeah, I just don't like the fact that when I use them on the bottom board, that the mites, the beetles can still get down underneath and around them. So there's still bees that are getting aggravated by them, right? Once they fall through the thing, there's no more aggravation there because they're just dead. So that's the retro ones are the ones. I do wear a belt. Yeah. I'm gonna have to start wearing like Kevlar, like one of them bomb suits. Like what was that movie or show they had on HBO where they would walk out in these big bomb suits to try to like detonate bombs? You know what I'm talking about? The military guy. Yeah, maybe I'm the only one that's seen it. But yeah,
Was it a movie?
it was a series.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about, there, right?
Yeah.
Well, what I'm thinking of is movies, not. So I maybe don't know what you mean.
Maybe we just need to invent a Kevlar bee suit. Very lightweight. Fabric, lightweight, multiple layers that stop bullets, but a honeybee could probably still stick me through it.
A flak suit.
A flak suit, that's it. What are people thinking about shopping for it? Nobby. That's a great question. I don't know. Same thing last year. I need frames. I might be able to get a decent deal on frames and not have to pay a bunch of shipping on them. So we'll see. And that's if I even license uncapper. There you go, boy.
Well, you can fix him up on that.
Dennis Lentz said that him and a buddy were going to go in and buy it together, and it's still sitting in my honey house.
Yeah, I'm going to get the hive lifter. James will probably bring it down for me.
Well, what about the new one? What is it called? The worker bee? What's that company out of Canada, Brad?
Sunny Bee, or the lifter company.
Yeah,
you confused me. I was thinking Sunny Bee. Well, his website is Bee Breeding Center, is what it's called.
But that one that Ian shared.
Oh, the one that Ian shared. Charlie was talking about his Phantom hive lifter. Yeah, it's called Worker Bee. It's made by Cancade in Brandon, Manitoba. Yeah.
What's it look like? I never heard of it.
It looks like somebody took a easy loader and painted it black. Is what it looks like.
I mean, the braces for the
Cancade
actuators are slightly in different places, but yeah, it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, same thing. It looks like it has a little heavier capacity than
700 pounds.
The easy loader. Yeah, I think the easy loader 660.
Reverse engineered.
Yeah, I think I know how that happened. Well, I can guess how that happened.
I know a guy that has one of those.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's it.
It's probably not too hard to figure out if you look online. I mean, even if you look at Cancade's site, they have all the drawings up on the site, right? You basically look at them and make it to size, basically, to scale. Have energy. Maybe that's all I need to do. I'll just get a bug zapper suit. A suit that has a bug zapper like strips on the outside of it. So any pissed off bees that come, they just get eliminated right out of the gate. And then I don't have to worry about them. And whoever's left is still babies. They can't be mad yet. And, just work that out.
Well, that's one way of getting rid of them.
Well, Brad just dumped soap in them.
It was just water.
Just water. We didn't waste any good soap on them. No, just drowned them.
No, that's all I had. Pail of water. I was going to solve that problem lickety split right then and right now in a hurry. And I think I did.
But well, Brad didn't have a live schedule tonight. He's not committed.
Yeah, I
doing
never
every week.
promised weekly. I'm sorry. Yeah, I
They're
never
trying to
promised
peer
weekly.
pressure you into the weekly,
peer
the
pressure
weekly
me.
deal.
Believe me, if you had me doing a live every week, you'd get tired of me in a real big hurry.
Well, they're already tired of me, but they still show up. I mean, look at Charlie. He looks like the thinking man over there.
I'm looking at this here hive lifter.
So bring up Ian's comment there.
Yeah, they do a lot of different things as far as manufacturing.
They decided to build a unit here because Easy Loader was so expensive, but they ended up now offering it for much the same price range. Funny how that works
So
out.
they figure out how come Easy Loader is so expensive.
Well, when you first go to the drawing table, right, you're like, oh, we can make this cheaper than that. But then you make
people
some,
always say that. Oh, I could build one of those. Well, why don't you?
And then it's like, oh, but we're leaving money on the table if they're already buying these other ones for that much.
Well, you don't forget, you don't just have to build it. You need to pay engineers.
And then looking at the website, yeah, didn't they say that didn't include the truck body? That's like just the unit on the truck, right? That doesn't include the truck itself.
Oh yeah, well, no way. You got to bolt that to your truck or trailer.
So you got to have a few things.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Just buying that Easy Loader or the Cancade unit, that's just the beginning. You need somewhere to put it. You just have this expensive pallet load of stuff sitting in your backyard.
Yeah, the site says it starts as $55K plus installation costs.
Right.
Well,
so yeah, they're not cheap.
That company does. Typically, that company does truck boxes, like grain truck boxes.
Yeah, that and round bale wagons and loaders.
But it is nice that you don't have to order from like somewhere else. I mean, if you're going to get one and pay X number of dollars, then it's nice you could get it local. I mean, possibly.
That's a 3-hour drive from me.
Well, that's local for where you live.
Yeah, that's 3 hours.
I mean,
and that guy on the video,
I'll see you in 4 hours.
That guy on the video where they were demoing it, he's like 10 miles from there.
Oh, really? That's don't have to ship it over the pond, George says. That's right.
So Donnie wants a $55,000 lifter for a $900 school bus.
Look at this. Look at this. Once they figure out a few things, I might buy one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to have one of those someday.
A lot of people would like to have one of those.
Someday.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I would like to have.
Someday. But the bee breeding center is much more realistic. Sorry.
Absolutely.
So I was thinking of like, you look at Bob Binney's place, right? And the only reason I say Bob Binney's because I haven't seen anybody else's place like this, right? Where you come in and it's a store. And then through the glass, you can see the ladies in there jarring up the honey, and they've, got an education room or whatever on the side. I mean, just think the kids that you could have, right? That come in and they watch these little tiny bears get filled up with honey, that when they come on their little field trip, they all get a little 2-ounce bear of honey, right? Yeah, it's a lot of honey when you're talking about a lot of kids. But every one of those has your address and phone number on it that now is going home with little Johnny to mommy and daddy, right? So
and they're going to run out of honey pretty fast with that tiny jar.
It'll probably be gone. The kids like in the school bus, on the way home. So
So what I'm saying is they're gonna need more soon.
yeah, yeah. But that's like a good marketing thing. But just the overall cost of the equipment is. I don't know that I can ever get there with what I've got. I don't know that I could ever get to that spot. Like even like where you're at, Brad, where you got the 500 pounds of honey in one tank, right? 100-gallon tank or whatever gallon tank it is. I don't see myself ever getting to that because although I might like to do that, there's so many constraints, right? Like land. I can only put so many here. Or I need to buy a piece of land or find a piece of land or lease a piece of land. Well, then it's a time issue. And then if you do get that,
Well,
you have that much.
You need buildings. You need buildings. You need equipment. You need vehicles. You need. We talked about this the other day about just your honey house.
Well, you need a
my
tractor
honey house.
and a building.
My honey house is I think it's pretty good honey house. There's a lot of places to improve. However, for what I'm doing, to me, it's kind of minimal because I have to do all that by myself. Now, I give my wife credit every time because she paled up every ounce of that 11,000 pounds of honey. And I'm so thankful for that because I hate that job. But my honey house is kind of minimal because I can't put my honey through it. If I couldn't put it through that fast, and it's not that fast because I've been at it for a month, then there's a risk of granulation and all those kind of things in the honey. And you just see, not only that, but I need to free up that building for other tasks, and then I need to treat bees, and I need to get bees put away. So finishing up my extracting the last week of September, which is what I usually do, that's not too early for what I got to do yet. I've got a lot of work I have to do in that building. Thanks, buddy. It was sure nice to get that 11,000 pounds off my back. Now it's in the pail. I have to find somewhere to put it now. So that's the reality, with a modest operation. You've got a 4-frame extractor or a 9-frame extractor or something. You're all good and everything. You can use Charlie, you're talking about those Hive Butler uncapping tank. You can use that kind of system and whatnot. But once you start to get the volume, you need to add to that. It's not just because you like cool machines. It's you got to add to that.
The only reason I do it because I'm not to that honey.
Well,
but
yeah, Bob buys it just because it's cool machines. But sane people. Talk about sane people.
Well, I talked about the Hive Butler. It met my needs because I use plastic frames, and I was able to devise that uncapping holder that holds that frame steady instead of a nail like most people do. It works for me because it's better than a 5-gallon bucket, and I've paid for it by just reclaiming the drippings. I'll say 20, 30 pounds of honey out of your cappings and stuff.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I mean,
and same thing with that. The new addition I got, that spinner this year, is from what I can see, and I won't know the number until I melt that wax and see how much honey comes out of it. But from what I see, that thing's going to pay for itself in probably 2 to 3 years. That's really hard to tell because such a variety of colonies. There was 6-frame nukes in there, and let me do a fast calculation and we'll see. I think it was probably just over 100 pounds per colony.
But that's like Bob's equipment. I would have something like that, but I got to have, when you get to that size of equipment, and then you got to have a honey house. You got to have something dedicated for that kind of space. And I don't have that.
Brad isn't dedicated just for a honey house. Brad is a multi-use facility. Yeah. It's a storage area.
Yeah, but I'm sure
storage in the summer
area. It's
He's
his
got a
honey
33 frame
extraction area.
extractor bolted to the floor. It ain't moving nowhere. And he's
No, and
got
that's
that.
why I bolted it right in the corner, close as I
Yeah.
could, because it sits there the whole time.
What
But
I'm
yeah,
getting at
it
is
was
I'm still working out of my back porch, and I got to have stuff that's mobile and easy to lift by hand and whatever and stuff like that. But
yeah. The great thing about that building is things can go in and out on pallets if they're not too heavy. You know,
right, but
But are
anyway,
those like
if I
cheap?
had a couple £1,000 a year or something like that, I might think about all that stuff. But
But can you like are there like cheap, easy, it's like the wall panels are um, aluminum, foam, aluminum, and it's really easy to build. That could be a cheap honey house for you to build
now,
out of
Mike,
those material.
yeah, ended up putting a few
A lean-to.
a lean to. Yeah, you could do all that, but if I was gonna do something like that, I would, want to, something that's a washable bay area where you can wash the floor down if you spill something or.
That's the as far as like there's other pieces of equipment I want, but it just becomes for me at the scale and the amount of honey that I've got, I can't justify that cost, right? A honey sump and a pump, that's $4,000. Doesn't it will make my life faster is hypothetically, but then Brad's situation, Brad's bottleneck is how he can filter it coming out of his tank. So
yeah.
his honey sump is always full. His extractor has honey in it. His tank has honey in it, but then he's got to wait for it to warm up so he can run it through the strainer. So it's just you take your choke point from here and you just move it over here, move it over one, right? So that's kind of the thing that if I got a honey sump, great. But then the honey sump's on the ground, so now I got to get a pump to pump it up into my bottling tank.
Yeah, but I think one thing that Brad has brought to light that the honey sump is not something that cleans your honey really. I mean, it takes the
No,
majority of
not
it
at
out,
all.
but it doesn't. It's not 100%.
Takes the larger pieces out. It really, in my view, in my system specifically, the sump protects the pump because the little 1-inch gear pump doesn't pump wax very well. So that's what the sump does. It takes enough wax out that the pump doesn't gum up in wax. So that's really all it does. It'll warm, like it has, the up and down baffles in it to separate, and it warms the honey. It's got a jacket, so it'll warm the honey so that then those wax particles will float easier. But yeah, it is not something that you're going to think run it through that sump and then you're going to be able to bottle it right off of there. Not a chance. Not a chance.
Well, that was like when Ian was talking here last couple of days or week or last week about his float spin, that you have to have a certain amount of honey continuously going into that machine to make it work exactly right. And then I didn't quite understand how it would, where some people had problems where it would push more honey into it at a, it wasn't an even flow, I guess is what he was saying, where it would not do just quite right or something. I forget what it was. He was saying it was like a an extra push of honey or maybe some more honey than normal would get in there and would either make it choke up or not do quite right.
I
But
think you have to maintain that layer of honey on the outside. You have the layer of honey on the outside, and then you have a layer of wax on the inside of that. So I think, if I may, if you start pushing more honey through that faster, the layer of honey on the outside will get larger And then, of course, as Alex pointed out, those knives that cut the inside of the wax, then that layer of honey is going to get closer and closer to that knife, and probably the thinner the wax, the wax is not going to be as dry, and ultimately,
Mm.
if a honey layer gets too thick, it'll probably reach that knife, and then the knife will start cutting honey, which
So
because the
there's a
moderating
balance.
the
There's a
moderating
balance
factor
between
is
the.
those funny tubes that we talked about, right? The honey can
Okay.
only come out of those tubes so fast, and so it's between input rate and viscosity is compared to those tubes is what moderates the throughput and keeps that layer of
So there
honey
has to be a
kind
certain
of
balance
consistent.
between all that.
Yeah, it's a pretty tight balance,
Mm.
and there's no way to make any kind of a quick change to that balance. The quickest change you could make to that balance is just changing the rate of input of the honey.
Hmm.
But it's got to take the honey as fast as that extractor spits it out, because there's no buffer in the system except that little bucket under there with the churning paddles. That's the only thing that can absorb a larger push of honey, and that big pump at the beginning, that's the thing that really sets the pace for the spinner.
You see, Donnie, my honey house is the approximate size of my wife's Mustang that is currently sitting outside of said honey house. Donnie.
Now, Russell, we're about Landy Simone. I believe if you read, she is actually a retired engineer of some sort, and then she got into beekeeping. I'm not sure. She just didn't start out beekeeping; it was a job.
Holy moly, guys. No old man nap. That's what the yawns are for.
Oh, you missed your old man nap.
I did it
My
on
goodness.
purpose because yesterday, I took an old man nap and said I was going to go back to work today. And then I was up till 6 o'clock this morning because I couldn't go to sleep. And so I skipped the old man nap today and in an effort to actually go to work tomorrow. So
You should know better than skip an old man nap. Oh, hey, here's something fun. Maybe I'll talk about it on my vlog this weekend. Going out tomorrow to get that tank, I found a jacketed stainless tank that is it's probably similar to what you see in Ian's honey house. That's kind of up high on a stand. It's not that big, but it's still pretty big. I think it'll hold about 3,000 pounds of honey. So I'm thinking that if I can pump my sump into that tank, and then I can meter that tank into my melter as you go, because I often have to stop extracting because the melter's full and the sump is full and everything. So if I can keep extracting and extract into that 3,000 pound tank, and then meter it off into the melter from there, then that might really speed up my process.
Gives you a nice buffer.
Mark.
Mark the clown. That's funny.
So anyway, that's a road trip for tomorrow. So
4-hour round trip.
yeah, it'll be 4-hour round trip. Yeah.
Well, and that
Almost
doesn't
2
include
hours worth.
talking time in between, right? So 5-6 hours.
Well, I'm not buying it from a beekeeper, so
okay.
Civilians get bored pretty fast with bee talk. If it was a beekeeper, it would be 9 hours.
Right.
So he's got something to load it for you with.
Yeah, I hope so. I didn't cover that, so we'll see.
Well, we looked
We'll
at
see.
the photos yesterday and we were all like, wow, that looks pretty big, but it was only 9 feet long, right? That's what they said. 36 inches wide.
9 feet long, and yeah, I forget what they said. Yeah, 9 feet long. So it was too long to go. Well, I mean, I could have put it in the back of my truck, but it won't go under my canopy. So if I didn't have the canopy, it would go in my truck with the tailgate down. But I'm just going to take my 14-foot trailer.
You mean with
make
the
it easy
cap? The
peasy.
cap? Okay, yeah, yeah. It's about like a gas tank almost, I guess.
Because it's got some little legs on it, and that kind of makes it a bit taller. I'll tell you
Yeah,
what they said.
little pipe legs, I guess. It'd be easier on that flatbed anyway. You just put it right up there.
Oh
As long
yeah,
as you got
yeah.
front end
9
loader
feet
with some
long,
strap.
37 inches wide, and 42 to 46 inches high. I can only take about 36 inches under the canopy of the truck, so 37
Be my
inches
luck, it
wide.
would
That's
be
not really wide.
be mine. It would be 35 and a half, and then it would have like an eyelet that's stuck up to 38.
Yeah,
Right?
that's what a hammer is for. Bash.
Well, I hope you brought the torch to cut these
So,
eyelets off of here. So
yeah, I don't know how much it weighs, and I think the seller is a lady, so I'm not sure
that she knows.
who I'm going to get to help. Maybe
that was
she's a really stocky woman, and she
Yeah,
can
but if they're
lift
on a
half of me.
dairy farm, they probably have a tractor or something.
No,
to
it's
lift
not.
something.
It's not a dairy farm.
Oh,
This
it's
is something they've been using for water. It's not a dairy farm.
Well, I would
So
make
we'll
sure they
see.
got something to lift it.
Yeah, before you drive
Well,
4 hours.
I might be the something to lift it. We don't know.
Oh, I've been there before. You put one, drag it over, put one end on, then get up on the trailer, drag it as far as you can drag it, and then get off and walk to the other side and push it as far as you can push it, right?
Yeah, don't get me
And
started.
try to get it
I'm
on
pretty
there.
crafty about getting things in the trailer. So we'll see.
Well, if the
Hopefully.
Egyptians could build the pyramids, one Canadian can get a tank on a trailer. For sure. And you're still out of
Maybe
gin.
I'll take my tripod and get some footage on that. Get some content. Watch this Canadian try and muscle this big tank on a trailer.
Speaking of tripods, I did order one. It's coming. I don't know when it's going to be here, but it is coming. So
Did?
I did.
That's
It
fantastic news.
doesn't mean I'll use it. It just means I'll have another one. That's all I'm saying.
You can lead Bob to water, but you can't.
That's when they're going to say, you need to get a tripod. Well, I got one. You said to get one.
I got one.
Use it.
I got one. It's in the house.
That's it. That's where everything is that I need in the house when I'm out in the bee yard. I got to keep going back and forth. Well, there's the Guinness Book of World Record holder himself, Sebastian. So Bob ordered a tripod before Charlie ordered a hive lifter. A little bit different price points there. Little bit different.
Yeah.
But I figured we'd go to about 10, maybe ish. You know, Todd said he was coming, but I think he's lying because I haven't seen Todd yet.
I think Todd skipped his old man nap too. You know how he gets.
Yeah, he's cooking. You know,
I made a big pot of chili tonight. Boy, was that ever delicious.
You'll be paying for it tomorrow. The old brown starfish would be upset.
Yeah. I'll be on the road all by myself.
And you get to enjoy it 2 times.
Messenger, Bob.
Todd was here. Bob, look at Messenger. I know you said you were still cooking or something. Oh, and the pack. Well, yeah, it's the pack. What do you expect? They're going to get their ass kicked. That's what they do. Especially when they're playing the Vikings. Just saying. Yeah. Oh, that looks good, though. Some rigatoni. This dude's like a chef. You're in the wrong business, man. Looks like some menudo. What else did you make? Yeah, he's over there cooking peppers and sausage and rigatoni and cheese and got a bunch. On my way bread. On my way, Brad. Todd's almost done with supper. I haven't seen Silver Gorilla in a while. It's been a minute.
Priorities. Well, Saturday got to feed the bees again. Just make sure everybody's topped up. I'm draining that tank, so I'm going to run out of feed. I have to make a decision to mix more or not. I have sugar now, but I have to decide if they're going to need more. And I got to kind of sort the honey house around. The pails are everywhere. I have to get them on pallets so I can move them around. But the next job
Cut comb honey.
The next job is to cut comb honey. Yeah, I got to get on that. So that's I'm probably not going to get into that until mid to late next week, though. So I'll be cutting comb honey for a few days.
Thanks, Kim.
In the honey house.
Penny.
So that's what's on the docket. And then after that, I render the wax and then take some of my wax and do one of my favorite jobs, and that's waxing frames. Once and I got a lot of frames this year I want to wax, so it's going to take a while.
Yeah, you called all those.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's not even going to be those. It's just going to be frames that I've extracted because those are going to need more work yet. But once the feeding is done, then the feed pails come into the honey house, and God bless her, my wife washes those. And she said to me a couple of years ago, she said, I don't mind washing feed pails. And I didn't know what to say.
You got a tear in your eye? And
yeah, I teared up. I gave her a big
hug
and a kiss.
So much.
Yeah.
You do all the jobs I hate. That's when you say, I really hate mowing grass. Oh, no problem. I got it.
Yeah. Any markets coming up? We're only doing one market. It's late November. We're doing a Christmas market late November. And I don't know if I'm spilling beans here, but we have decided that this is the last year that we're going to do markets. Probably the only thing we're going to do next year is if our little village has an event. They had a pretty good little event here this year, so it was nice to be over there. Because I'm the honey guy in town. It's only 3 miles away. It's not a big burden. So that's something that's going to change in my business model is not doing any markets. So we'll see, right?
Well, the bigger you get, the more you have to try to be more efficient, right? So you have to weigh what you're making to the time burn and
yeah, the older you get too.
Well, yeah, that's for me. I mean, we talked about that as well, right? So here's something interesting, Charlie, that you might be interested in talking about after you scoop the ice cream in your face.
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake Charlie.
Cheesecake Charlie and Buckwheat Bob.
Okay, that's a new one.
So everybody has a growth strategy, right? We all are like, okay, well, I'm at 50, I want to get to 100, or I want whatever the number is. It doesn't matter. But none of us have a exit strategy. What happens
strategy is
too old to do everything you're doing, right? Yeah. What's the method that you then say, I'm 80 years old. I don't feel like I can do this anymore. Don't have the energy. And now I need to start downsizing. That's a whole different.
I think one of the most obvious things is, if somebody, they start to get older, and it doesn't have to be older. You just, maybe some people, they lose interest, or something happens, they move away, or maybe a loved one passes away and their life changes. The bees, like, you got to jettison those bees ASAP, because if you just kind of let that ride, then that's just going to disappear. Those bees are going to be gone. And that's a lot of dough. That's a lot of dough to say goodbye to. So I think that's one of the biggest things.
And I see people that are like on Marketplace. Oh, I'm getting out. I got 400 hives. I want $250 a piece, but you got to buy them all, right? It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know many people that got that kind of pockets. They're just going to go stroke a check for your
Well,
bees, right? I
gotta
mean, some people could do it,
get
but
some
not this
commercial
guy.
guys. You
This
know,
guy couldn't do it.
get some commercial guys. They might want to do
Hanley's
that.
like, I'm at 50 and already asking those questions. I mean, we always have that. So
Yeah.
it could be as simple as a business model change. We talked about that. Well, instead of going from honey production, now you're just nuke production, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to produce the honey anymore. You
Yeah.
take all your sales in the spring.
And you can't really, you know, you can never really do one or the other of those, but you can concentrate on one. You know, if you go more nukes and splitting and producing bees and whatnot, sure, your honey take is going to be smaller, but it's still going to be there. You're not going to not make honey. Certainly not in this part of the world. There's always going to be honey.
Right.
But you
Not
know,
here.
yeah. Well, I guess there's no blanket statements for every location.
Well, like my mentor, I mean, he does primarily nukes, and he pulled about 10 gallons off his nukes. That's what he got.
Yeah.
So he's
Well,
got enough.
even that proves the rule, right? That's still 10 gallons of honey. So
Right.
you know, you got to extract that. You got to pull it. You got to do something with it. So, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping too. My grandson, that's the goal, right? Maybe my grandson will take interest in it and then kind of kick the can down the road a little bit. And then look, hey, if my granddad would have done it and I would have started out with the, several, 40 grand, 50 grand worth of stuff that I have to get started, if I would have had that to start with, then I would be ahead of the game, right?
But would you be interested in it? You know what I'm saying? You grow up with something and it's like, man, I want to get away from this. I'm tired of this. I've done this ever since I was 8 years old.
Right.
You got that situation.
Yeah, I didn't come out of high school thinking I want to run a lumber planer for the rest of my
Right.
It's not. Well, there's one I can have, and I know how to do it. But boy,
For me, all right, I grew up with a sawmill on a farm, so I joined the volunteer fire service. I became a paramedic, firefighter. I got a job at the Aberdeen Proving Ground for about 6 months as a paramedic. I found out real quick they didn't pay no good. The pay wasn't all that great. The benefits weren't all that great. I was looking for the benefits more for than anything else but when I graduated, that's when corporate America was pulling the rug out from everybody as far as benefits and retirement plans and stuff where they would put money into that situation and all that kind of stuff dried up. And it's still kind of dried up for the most part. And I found out the paramedic thing, I liked it, but it wasn't my cup of tea and it didn't pay well. And so I came back to the mill and I don't know. Some days there, I get aggravated of a lot of things about it, but on the other hand, when you work for yourself, you can do things when you want to do them. Most times, if you work for somebody else, you got to get permission to get off, or it's a hassle or something like that. So that's the upside of it. I don't know. It's like right now, I'd like to retire or do something of that nature without having to get rid of anything. And I don't see it happening. I don't see, it's like some people asked me about that and we discussed it. I said, well, everybody I ever talked to here lately who's retired has to get another job because their retirement keeps shrinking with inflation in order for them to keep on going and everything. And then the most models or retirement models are, oh, I have all this big ground and everything, or let's say I have a house and 5 acres. Well, I'm going to sell all that and move into a condo. And I'm like, this guy ain't moving into no condo. I like my open spaces and keep people away. So that's, another thing you have to kind of think about. Depends on what you're used to as far as living spaces and stuff.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that, as I get older, I think that same thing, right? Well, what if I want to go up to Charlie's for a week, or if I wanted to drive up to Brad's and go see Brad and Ian for a week or something like that? Then it's like, well, yeah, well, who's going to run everything down here, right? And then obviously, if I did in the wintertime, nobody's going up to Canada in the wintertime. At least not me. Negative
Not by
18
choice.
my ass. That ain't happening to me.
Hey,
I'm not
Todd.
doing
Hey everyone.
Hey,
Oh man, I'm full.
How full are you?
Well, Brad, I'm about as full as a tick that just fell off a cow.
That sounds like it's pretty full.
I'm full.
that's one of them where you can squeeze it and just pop it all over the
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, I'm done.
But as far as like going out of the bee business per se, I've kind of switched my gears some here in the last couple of years. I used to have 25 nukes down through there, and I wanted to sell at least 20 nukes a year. And I had the 10 honey hives, and sometimes the nukes, I don't know, I find that sometimes they're stressful trying to get them prepped exactly the way I like them. And so I actually added 2 honey hives and downsized, cut the nukes down some, about 5 or so. I'm down, only got about 20 nukes. And you're kind of switching things around a little bit. You're not really, and I have thought about maybe cutting back on the nuke sales. That's just that one less thing you got to worry about, trying to get them out the door before they swarm and stuff like that in the springtime. So, I don't know. Honey sales is all year round and all.
Right, but we've already proven you could buy the honey cheaper in bulk and don't have the bees or the headache or the mite treatments or the extraction equipment. All you need is a bottle and tank and some bottles, right? So as far as the honey sales, that's something that you could do with whether you got bees or not, honestly, because even if they came to my house, they don't know if I got bees in an outyard somewhere. I mean, it's a little bit deceptive. Don't think that that's not where I'm going with this, Darren. But
but I get that question gets asked a lot of me.
Where's your bees?
Where's your bees? I said, they're right behind the barn up there. You want to go look at them? Go look at them. And that's one of the big things they like. I says it, I said, look, I'm the beekeeper, and I said it's my honey, nobody else's. It's real. It's a real deal, and people like that.
I got a story about that happening to me in the retail business. I was just starting out, first year or two, going to stores, and I make cold calls to stores and go in and talk to the manager and tell them who I am and hopefully get the honey on the shelf. And I was in one of these stores, and after, I don't know, I got on the shelf a month earlier or something, and the manager came to me and she says, she starts quizzing me like that. So are you the beekeeper? And I said, yeah, I'm beekeeper. And this store was like 6 miles from my house. And I said, yeah, the bees are like right there, kind of thing. And so this is honey that you produce? And I said, yeah, this is honey I produce. With my bees produce it. And she said that somebody came in from a kind of a competing local honey seller, that they were doing kind of the same model I was doing.
Right.
And she told this store manager, she said, oh yeah, I know him. She said, he buys his honey from us and sells it to the stores. And I heard that and I thought, what a dirty, rotten trick, Why would you say something like, well, I don't know why they would, but how could you say something like that? Because it's absolutely not true.
But even if it were true, when you go down the road of saying, I'm going to wholesale my product to another beekeeper, then that's like almost like lawyer-client privilege, right? It's like that's a business dealing with us. That's not for everybody.
Well, true. If it was true, she shouldn't be telling anybody that they sell honey to me.
Right.
Hey, Phil.
Hey, Brad.
Yeah, I should tell her to follow me on YouTube. I wasn't really doing a lot of YouTube at that point, so it wasn't. But I just thought that, you know what, if you're that desperate to get your honey in a store, maybe I'll let you have this one or something.
Right.
It's just kind of rotten.
And when they're
It's
out
just a
of
rotten
business,
thing to do.
come
I
back.
think. Yeah, whatever.
Philip, how's it going?
Good. Yeah, that's going to be my problem this year. I'm going to run out of honey probably around the first of the year, and I'll be out of business for a while.
Well, I know a Canadian guy that if you gave him $4 a pound, he'd probably sell you his whole load.
Yeah.
Because that's 75 cents more. Oh, and that's $4 US a pound.
I'd have to change my whole sales pitch though. I'm kind of like Charlie there. I get quizzed a little bit on that. So
See, I just think it would be cool to have a store where you buy the honey in bulk from all over the place, right? And you bottle it as such, where on the label it says Clover honey from Canada, boom, whatever.
right.
And,
Yeah.
and you know, as long as you're disclosing where it's from and that it's not yours, and then you have yours, right? So
Right.
people can come in and be like, "Hey, what's this honey taste like?" Well, I'm glad you should ask, you know, and little taste sampler thing, and good to go. Fresh Canadian honey, fresh local Canadian honey for sale in Texas.
Yeah, I think you're right. Economically, I think you're right. But I didn't
Look
get
at this. I reviewed that past video where Brad was explaining my honey house. That was fun. It was like a Sesame Street episode.
Now we got to figure out who was which character. I was probably Oscar the
one
Grouch.
barrel of honey. Ha ha ha.
Funny.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I was thinking more an episode of How It's Made.
Ian's being the keyboard warrior tonight. He's standing back just chucking jokes at us.
Yeah. I don't know. I told you guys I put some honey in the bodega in a little town near.
Sold
Well,
out
yeah.
probably. Boom.
Well, I gave them a case of the smaller jars and 6 of the big large jars, and they emailed me a couple of days ago and said, "Hey, we need another case of the smaller jars," and that was 2 weeks ago. So I
So
can't.
now you need to say, "I'm out of the smaller jars. All I have is this size and one larger."
Well, the only problem is the lady's son is in the spot next to me at the farmer's market, and he sells tamales. So
Okay.
I can't really hide from him. But I mean, I will have to tell them. You know, I was hoping they'd only get a case per month, but it's twice that right now.
I'd be trading some honey for tamales any
I've
day.
done that. Yeah, I've traded honey for tamales. I've traded honey for fresh baked bread.
Mm-hmm.
I've traded honey for canned goods, like
Yeah.
old lady canned stuff, and I've traded honey for kimchi.
I gotta
probably
send
the
that.
most unique thing I've traded it for.
I keep seeing people walk by with these fresh gallons of, it looks like farm fresh milk. And I'm like, I told my daughter, you got to go over there and see if we can cut a deal with those people, because I love whole milk right straight from the cow. My mom used to pick that up.
Or is that horchata or is it milk?
I don't know.
Might be horchata.
Honey for hot sauce trade.
It's kind of a yellow color. It's
Yeah.
not really white. Is
That's
that horchata?
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah. What does that mean?
So what they do, it's a Mexican drink. They I
Would have never thought that.
You know, it's got rice. They boil rice and they strain it. They put it in the milk with sugar and cinnamon, and I'm not sure exactly, but it's really good.
Maybe what it is.
It only has like about 12,000 grams of sugar per cup. It's really good.
I need to make it with honey.
Look at this. I traded honey for a Doberman puppy and honey for a brake job on a Jeep. And this is actually a fun topic. What is the most interesting thing you've ever traded honey for?
I traded a partial for a lawnmower one time. That lawnmower that's on my Kubota tractor, I paid for part of it with a box of honey.
That's cool. I think Kimchi's nookie. He traded honey for honey.
I knew that was going to come up.
Well,
See what I did there? That's so funny.
I figured if I work to 100 and sell my buckets for $65 a pound, I might get my investment back.
so what is that? What is that berry that DC has them?
Schnozberries, because they really taste like schnozberries.
No, people use them for tinctures, and that Kaylee, she's always talking about them. I'm drawing a blank on that.
It's a berry?
Yeah, it's a bush that makes
elderberry.
Elderberry, yes. Okay, so there's some people a few tents down at the farmers market, and she had some elderberry like juice, and she brought me a little sample of it. And she said, "Do you want to trade anything?" And she gave me this sample of elderberry juice, and it was awesome. I'm like, "Yeah, here, take some honey." So the way you do it at the market, you basically just take somebody something, and then they'll give you something. So she went back down to her booth, and I thought she was coming back with some of that elderberry juice. You know what she brought me? A jar of honey. Like, I need a jar of honey. That's what I got. This jar looked like really honey that she was selling. And she goes, and she apologized because she goes, "Well, mine, and this is way more than I put in any of my jars." She said, "Well, I only charge $12 for my honey." So it's just like, God. This is just what I need. So this will end up probably going into mead at some point.
So 12 pounds of honey for a dozen eggs every 2 weeks for a whole year. So 26 dozen eggs.
For a dozen eggs.
Every 2 weeks for a year.
A case of 1 pound. Okay, 12 pounds. I'm gonna taste this honey while we are here and see.
That's a rip.
Let's see.
How many dozen eggs you get?
26 dozen.
Not very good.
That's probably buckwheat.
Oh man, yeah. It's definitely like a fall honey, which I like fall honey, but it's kind of got a pungent taste to it. I don't know what you call it. It's not terrible, but it's not as
well. 26 dozen at $4 a dozen. It's $101, but I wouldn't pay $4 a dozen. But
Brian
Phil,
says
it kind of looks like buckwheat honey.
It's really dark.
Honey
it's
for
really
breakfast.
Dark. I am out of fall honey. Maybe I should just pour it in my jars and go sell it.
I've traded food trucks for honey quite a bit at the markets. I bribed the band at one of our markets with honey one time. I got a really good response too. They're a really good band. Oh yeah. They gave me a plug right over the PA and everything. That was awesome.
That's
cost me about 4 or 5 pounds of honey, but it was fun.
So that's like $10 Canadian.
Those are selling for $10 a piece at my stand.
Oh, that's a good bribe then.
Oh yeah. Well, they really appreciated it. They were a good band.
So farm eggs around there go for $5 a dozen. So 26 times 5. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Good night, Hanley. So we're at 10 o'clock. A little bit after. And I'm having a blast.
You didn't get. So how you feeling, Bob? I got in late.
Well, I'm feeling better. Truth be told, I could have, had I been able to sleep last night, I would have went to work today. But I'm going tomorrow. Make a showing at work on Friday because it's a light day.
Payday.
I might be able to stand it a little bit tomorrow, and then go to then get back to bee work on the weekend.
You see, Chris says he sells his eggs for $2 a dozen. I bet you don't have any, do you?
Well, at one time when I had my chickens, I had so many eggs I couldn't. My thing was I didn't want to sell them because I didn't want to go through and clean them and wash them and get them presentable and all
You
that.
have to do that. People don't want that.
Yeah, if people came and bought eggs or whatever, I say, hey, just know you're going to see chicken crap on them or whatever.
Yeah, feathers, everything. Yeah, that's the way it should be when you're buying farm fresh eggs.
So wash them before you
Before
eat them. We pay $1.29 a dozen, Eugene said.
You can't feed chickens for that much money.
Heck no.
$4.
That's one of the reasons that store-bought eggs go bad so fast is because they wash them. It washes the protective coating off of them.
Well, there's some truth to that, but they only go bad if they're not refrigerated.
Oh, they can last in your counter for 3 weeks before you refrigerate them.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't wash them, you don't need to refrigerate them.
Yeah, if you don't wash them, you'll go about a month.
That's some trivia. In Europe, they don't wash the eggs, and they don't refrigerate them. In North America, they wash them and refrigerate them. And the difference is really no difference as far as, illness and whatnot.
Oh, Stuffy's in the Bahamas. Hope you're enjoying yourself.
Well, I don't think they don't do a lot of refrigeration over here in Europe either. I know they don't use ice.
Well, like the beer, we used to just put it on the patio because it's like Canada, right? It's like snow outside or cold outside, so it gets as cold as the refrigerator just sitting out on the porch, right? 30 degrees or whatever. I charge more for eggs that have poop on them and tell them that's the more flavor.
I have a question for Brian. Does he use those little like hors d'oeuvre fork and knife for those quail eggs, little tiny?
It's hors d'oeuvres. So.
Hors d'oeuvres.
I thought it was
boiled egg and the little boiled egg spoon. Tick, 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 tick.
Yeah.
Trying to break into a quail egg. Tick, tick, tick.
Horse ovaries.
Horse ovaries.
All right, guys.
You are corrupting my lexicon, young man.
It is 10 o'clock. I'm going to shut the live stream down. We've been going for just about 2 hours. And, tomorrow night, Charlie's channel.
Yep.
Cheesecake Charlie.
Cheesecake Charlie.
Cheesecake Charlie. Friday night with Cheesecake Charlie.
Man, I double dog dare you to put that on your title for tomorrow. Friday Night Live with Cheesecake Charlie and Buckwheat Bob.
Now, Bob, you had a different nickname. You did some off-color joke, and we gave you a nickname, and I forgot what it was. It's been like a month ago or 2 months ago.
I don't remember now.
Bob making off-color jokes? Never.
Must be somebody else.
That's the beauty about doing live streams on your own channel. You can say what you want to. All right, guys. Everybody have a good night. Thank you for all the orders of the Appy tablets. I've got plenty more. So we're not out of stock. Not going to run out of stock. It's an impossibility at this point. So after I saw that live stream today, Brad, that question you asked the other day about the 20,000 tablets a day, looks like he's been making them for about a month, and they're backstopped. I mean, they are stacked everywhere.
Well, you better get busy selling then.
Yeah, Appy tablets. Get your Appy tablets here. Hot, fresh Appy tablets.
Get them while they're hot.
Get them while they're hot. I mean, literally, if you walked into Home Depot, the metal rack system that they have everything in, that first row on 10,000 square feet is Appy tablets.
Appy tablets.
Packaged, unpackaged, cased, everything. So plenty of them. So if you need $800 worth worth of them for your hives, I can probably make that happen for you. Just saying.
Buckwheat Bob will set you up.
We'll set you up.
Bewares.co.
Yeah. Or bewares.bigcartel.com. That's bewares.bigcartel.com. Anyway.
Bigcartel.com. That's BIG. See?
.com. All right, guys. Y'all have a good evening, and we will see you tomorrow on Charlie's channel.
Good night.
Good night,
Hey,
everybody.
guys.